Tonight on WTOP-10 Nightly News, Central New York's largest form of public transportation is receiving a modern-day upgrade.
And how recent graduates can help Oswego get a $40,000 donation.
Plus, who are the two candidates vying for the SA presidency?
WTOP-10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Kaylee Richmond.
And I'm Logan Russo.
Two students are going head-to-head in the battle for the Student Association presidency. A live debate between them took place last night, which was broadcast here on WTOP-10.
Current President Austin Davis is running for re-election against Aiden Wilson, who is currently the chair of finance for SA. Davis says he wants to strengthen relationships between organizations and SA while integrating, quote, student voting and civic engagement into campus culture. Wilson says he is more focused on advocating for on-campus amenities that, quote, cater to students' well-being, end quote. The vice presidency is also up for election with two candidates running. Voting is available to students along with approval of the student activity fee on Laker Life this Thursday and Friday.
SUNY Oswego alumni who have graduated within the last decade are getting into the game by supporting SUNY Oswego's March Matchness. If 200 alumni make a donation during the month of March, 1989 alumnus Brad Bernstein and his wife Liz will donate $40,000 to SUNY Oswego. To make a donation, visit the March Matchness website through the Oswego alumni website.
Central New York's largest form of public transportation is beginning to receive a modern-day upgrade. Our Jason Samsel is here in the studio for more on this story. Jason?
Thank you, Logan. A new service from Centro named Move has begun beta testing today throughout the streets of Rome. Move is Centro's ride-sharing app that connects commuters with similar travel routes. It's like a carpooling, but with a modern-day twist. While resembling a taxi service, Move comes at a fraction of the cost, however. In a statement, Stephen Kogel, the Vice President of Communications for Centro, warned that users should be prepared for potential wait times during peak hours. Pricing at the moment ranges from $1 to $4 depending on your destination. Payment can be made via the app or with cash upon boarding. And Kogel says he's optimistic that the Move app will be available throughout all of Central New York by this fall. I'm Jason Samsel at the studio. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Jason. That seems like an interesting rideshare app.
I know, I'm very interested in that. Can't wait to see what unfolds.
Absolutely. Well, the shores of Lake Ontario were crowded today thanks to these unseasonably warm temperatures we're having.
Let's take a first look at your forecast with Storm Team 10 meteorologist David Rienzo.
Thanks. You know, today we had some absolutely gorgeous weather, sunny skies, incredibly high temperatures. We had some high temperatures set all across New York State. I'll get into more in my full forecast. We can expect some more nice weather tomorrow, not as nice as it was today, as we'll see some cooler temperatures and stronger winds tomorrow. However, that is going to come to an end after this cold front moves through. We're expecting it later in the week. For this weekend, we can also see some very strong winds, which is going to make traveling back home for break a little bit more difficult. I'll have more on your travel forecast in my full forecast, but first, back to the break.
Thank you. With the theme of Good Sportsmanship Goes Beyond Sports, the 16th Annual Sportsmanship Day Symposium will take place this Thursday. This multidisciplinary event will feature multiple presentations focusing on topics like steroids in baseball, trans and intersex athletes, and Russian athletes in the Paris Olympics. Sociology professor Tim Delaney, who founded the conference, continues to organize the schedule with a variety of topics. Multiple speakers will present at the symposium from 2:20 to 5:15 in 104 Lanigan Hall.
Micron Technology is all in as their senior manager for external affairs, Joe Nime, was the keynote speaker at the Greater Oswego-Fulton Chamber of Commerce's annual meeting. Speaking about his optimism and excitement in the central New York area because of its transformational semiconductor project, he said, quote, Micron recently announced a $100 billion investment over 20 years in its Town of Clay facility, bringing forth 9,000 direct jobs and 40,000 indirect jobs.
Jewish Life at Oswego recently hosted a Shabbat dinner in dedication to the hostages taken by Hamas on October 7th. Shabbat is a Jewish day of rest, which includes a Friday night dinner. However, Rabbi Yossi Madvig, the co-director of the Shabbat of Oswego, says unknown individuals have been taking down their posters advertising this dinner. This comes after several incidents of vandalism were reported on campus involving defacing of campus property with Free Palestine signs 2 weeks ago. Amid the rise of anti-Semitic and Islamophobic hate crimes across the United States, Rabbi Madvig says many Jewish students at SUNY Oswego are concerned for their safety.
I mean, there's some students that are literally just afraid to go out to class. You know, they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know where this is leading. And if they were a little more vocal about exactly what their intentions are, what their position really is, other than just sort of this slogan, I think that would be helpful.
Rabbi Madvig says the dinner included a prayer for peace and the safe return of Israeli hostages in Gaza.
Well, still ahead tonight, with next week being spring break, we are taking a look at the unique ways some SUNY Oswego students are spending theirs.
Plus, the Supreme Court's most recent ruling. Stay tuned to hear about how their decision affects the upcoming 2024 election.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No,
right
but you've
here.
got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
Roll it.
Jill
Should we
told me it
tell
was
him?
Kitty from Glee. Yeah, what is it?
Al Roker.
Hello there, I am back. This is a photo that the National Weather Service out at Buffalo posted. You'll notice the recordized temperatures set in Buffalo, Syracuse, and in Watertown. A new record of 72 out in Buffalo, 72 in Syracuse. Really all around, even here in Oswego, I'm sure everyone enjoyed the nice warm temperatures. We reached up to 70 degrees, which is a new record high for March 4th. The last previous record was in 56 back in 1927. We are seeing 61 degrees right now, still sticking with some warm temperatures. This southeast wind out of for 9 miles per hour. We also have seeing some dropping pressure recently, which is going to bring that cold front for the next 2 days or so. Now, right here around most of all of New York, they're seeing some very warm temperatures after a very hot day today. 91 in Syracuse, 61 in Oswego. It is still 60 degrees in Buffalo, so they've cooled down quite a bit. But they can expect to see some colder temperatures overnight. 46 tonight with some winds coming out of the southeast, around 14 miles per hour. Nothing that's going to blow you over, but it might feel a little refreshing. Tomorrow, we're dropping down pretty significantly to 59 degrees as those clouds move in, mostly cloudy skies tomorrow. Again, with some strong winds, that's going to make it feel not as nice as it was today, but it's going to still feel pretty warm for early March, considerably unseasonably temperatures. Now, tomorrow is when the cold front's going to move through right around midnight, so we're going to see some increased chance of precipitation as the day progresses. It's really going to peak in the evening hours, right as you're coming home from classes, maybe starting your dinner. You could expect some rain hitting you on the way back home. Now, if you're going home for break, Friday is your best bet at traveling safely. You've got clear skies. Saturday, however, we're seeing some more rain and higher gusts, so it's going to be a little bit more dangerous out on the roads. So I would choose Friday if you're heading back home. Looking at your 7-day forecast, you're seeing a cold dip on Thursday as that cold front passes, as well as some rain. Friday clearing up, but Saturday, as I mentioned, you're going to see some rain, some chance of snow on Sunday and on Monday. That is it for my full forecast. Now back to the desk.
Thank you, David. Spring break is a chance to get away and take that long-awaited vacation. With the Alternative Breaks program at SUNY Oswego, students can travel and volunteer domestically or locally.
One of the 3 programs offered this year is right here on campus with the Office of Sustainability, where students will be using the Permaculture Living Lab in Arboretum. Megan Gagno has the details.
The program's coordinator, Kelsey Jones, says that the several different community projects offer students a unique opportunity to gain fresh perspectives and foster bonds already built.
All of those partners are people that we work with semester long as well. So it's just strengthening those partnerships with new students and also giving students the opportunity to learn about their community from somebody who's within their community.
Senior Josephine Taylor is one of the students volunteering in the program and says this is an opportunity to learn from local organizations before graduation.
I'm from Brooklyn, and Oswego is totally different from Brooklyn, and I feel like this is my final year as a senior, and this just gives me an opportunity to work with people in the community.
That was Megan Gagno reporting. All undergraduate and graduate students are eligible for this program.
New Yorkers may be saving an average of nearly $5,000 per year on health insurance. According to Governor Kathy Hochul's expanded Essential Plan, New Yorkers below the federal poverty line could qualify for this saving. Hochul described the plan as a sign of her strengthening commitment to New Yorkers and access to quality insurance. Eligibility information can be found on the governor's ny.gov website.
Moving to national news, police are currently investigating several shootings in Philadelphia that left a juvenile dead and 3 other people wounded. One of the shootings happened on a city bus this afternoon. Philadelphia police say the shooter opened fire on a SEPTA bus and wounded 2 women. A man was then found wounded on a street nearby. A juvenile was shot dead at a 3rd location. Police are still looking for the person responsible.
It's the eve of the biggest day of the primary season for the 2024 election, and it comes with a major ruling from the Supreme Court. Former President Donald Trump will be allowed to stay on the Colorado ballot. A unanimous decision with nationwide implications as more than a dozen states and 1 territory are set to vote tomorrow.
Julia Benbrook is tracking all the latest developments in the presidential primaries and reports from California.
On the eve of Super Tuesday, the Supreme Court ruled that former President Donald Trump should remain on the ballot in Colorado. The decision follows months of debate over whether the Republican frontrunner violated the insurrectionist clause included in the 14th Amendment.
It was a very important decision. We're very well crafted, and I think it will go a long way toward bringing our country together, which our country needs.
The court was unanimous on the idea that Trump could not be unilaterally removed from the state's ballot, a massive win for the former president. The decision comes as his last major primary opponent, Nikki Haley, who vowed to stay in the race at least through Super Tuesday, faces a make-or-break moment.
We do have a country to save. So this is where you get to work. We need to make sure we go out in force on Tuesday.
Haley secured her first primary win this week in Washington, D.C., but some GOP strategists say Tuesday's race could be the final contest in her 2024 run.
There's just no path forward for Nikki Haley. She's a former governor. She had foreign policy chops. She had all of the resume and the presentation that should have done well, but she didn't.
More than 1/3 of the total delegates in both the Democratic and Republican presidential primaries are up for grabs on Tuesday. Reporting in Los Angeles, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Moving on, South Korea and the United States start their annual Freedom Shield military drills today to bolster readiness against North Korea. According to the United States Forces, Korea and South Korea's defense ministry, exercises will focus on deterring North Korea's nuclear threat, says Seoul's Joint Chief of Staff spokesman Lee Jung-sun. North Korea has previously condemned U.S. and South Korea joint military exercises, but has not made any official comments or response to the current exercises.
Today, France becomes the first country to make abortion access enshrined in the country's constitution. Celebrations were seen in the heart of Paris at the Trocadero, where people watched the vote on giant screens. It was the culmination of an effort that began in direct response to the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. President Emmanuel Macron called the vote a, quote, French pride and universal message.
When WTOP-10 nightly news continues, birth control is becoming more accessible in the U.S.
And stay tuned to learn some tips and tricks to make the most of the upcoming 2024 eclipse. Welcome back to Major Discussion.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hey there, I'm Al Roker, class of 76. Yes, way back in 76. Back when the earth was cooling. You're watching WTOP.
In consumer news, the first over-the-counter birth control pill will be available for purchase in the U.S. this month. The O pill is available now through the company's own website, but it may take several weeks for the pill to be available on pharmacy shelves. Manufacturer Perrigo suggests a retail price of $20 for a month's supply of the O pill and $50 for a 3-month supply. The company says when taken as directed, the pill is 98% effective in preventing pregnancy.
Airline passengers may be experiencing some dissatisfaction when it comes to baggage fees. Experts say passengers are shelling out more money to check their bags. Starting later this month, United Airlines will charge passengers $80 to check one bag for a round-trip flight. American Airlines, JetBlue, and Alaska Airlines have also announced fee increases this year. The Transportation Department says baggage fees generated nearly $7 billion for the airlines in 2022.
As the 2024 April 8th solar eclipse nears, Oswego is preparing for events and celebration as the city is in the path of totality. But if you plan to view the eclipse from one of the other 14 U.S. states in its path, Jen Sullivan has some advice on how to plan ahead to ensure that you get a spot in the moon's shadow.
Do you still have those special solar eclipse viewing glasses? You may have another opportunity to use them. On April 8th, a total solar eclipse will be visible to millions of people in North America, 32 million in the U.S. alone.
I saw the last solar eclipse, and there is really something magical.
Expedia travel expert Melanie Fish says this eclipse will be visible in more areas than the Great American Eclipse in 2017.
This time, the solar eclipse covers a much more populated path of totality. So that means a lot more people are going to have a chance to see it.
A solar eclipse is when the moon passes between the sun and the earth, casting a shadow on the earth that fully or partially blocks the sun's light, creating darkness like this during the day. Mexico's Pacific coast will experience the total eclipse first. Then the path enters the U.S. and goes up to Newfoundland, Canada. People in 15 states will be able to view the phenomenon, and lodging is already in high demand.
Availability is getting tight for hotels to stay in and vacation rentals in the path of totality.
This year's rare sight falls around spring break, which is already a popular time to travel. So book accommodations, flights, and car rentals now. For those who have the week off, Fish suggests planning an entire trip around the solar eclipse. So pick a place where there are other things to see and do. Most importantly, plan ahead.
Don't just wing it and hit the road and say, I'm going to drive to wherever the eclipse is.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
And no matter how you're experiencing the eclipse, SUNY Oswego's news outlet, Oswego Now, has you covered with their 2024 Eclipse Special. Coming up in sports, Lucas McGarry is here in the studio.
Lucas, can you give us a quick preview?
Thanks, guys. The Oswego men's basketball team couldn't finish the job this weekend. Grigas and Goss make nationals, and devastating news for the New York Knicks. All this and more on WTOP-10.
What's going on?
Yeah, we go on at like 11:30. It's like
No.
What do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Yeah, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Whoa.
You know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow.
Wow.
Get a closer to that one.
Matthew,
Broadcast news.
look at that.
Can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
We'll deep dive into our feelings in our Real Talk segment. Stay tuned because it's about to get real.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to Major Discussion.
Welcome back to WTOP-10. My name is Lucas McGarry. This past Saturday, the Oswego men's basketball team fell in the second round of the NCAA tournament as they took on the Williams College Eafs in a high-drama game that ended 79-77. Both teams were tied with 17 seconds left. Williams point guard Cole Prowett-Smith ran down the clock and then scored the game-winning layup with less than a second left, sealing the deal for the Eafs. Akey Anderson was the bright star of this game for the Lakers, scoring 25 points, shooting 4 for 5 from beyond the arc. Williams moves on to the Sweet 16 where they will take on the defending champions, the Chris Newport Captains. Senior Charlie Grigas and freshman Gabe Goss of the Oswego men's wrestling team are heading to the national championship. Grigas and Goss punched their ticket with a successful outing this weekend at RIT in the Northeast Regionals. Charlie won all 3 of his preliminary matches, 2 by pin and 1 by major decision. On Sunday, he would forfeit the championship match due to medical reasons. Goss on Friday won 2 matches, 1 by pin and the other a 5-1 decision. On Saturday, Goss, the number 4 seed, upset the top seed 7-4 in the semifinals to advance to the finals at 141, where he dropped an 8-1 decision. Moving now to women's college basketball. This past Sunday, we saw history as Caitlin Clark became the all-time NCAA scorer for both men and women. She did so against the Ohio State Buckeyes in a game in which she scored 35 points to pass LSU legend Pete Maravich on the leaderboard. Now Clark looks to make even further history as she chases down the AIAW record held by Frances Marion before the NCAA began governing women's athletics. Clark is just 235 points shy of the 3,884 points that Marion scored from 1975 to 79. Jason Kelsey, Philadelphia Eagle center, announced in a press conference today that he would be hanging it up. Kelsey was drafted in the 6th round of the 2011 draft and was a beast every day he stepped on the field. In his 13 seasons, he made the Pro Bowl 7 times and was named first-team All-Pro for the 6th time this past year, showing that he still had it up to his final snap. On top of all that, he has a Super Bowl ring that can never be taken away from him. Kelsey is already being revered as a first-ballot Hall of Famer and will surely be missed by all of the NFL. Now we head to Cleveland, where we will look at the New York Knicks taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. A scary early start for the Knicks as Jalen Brunson appeared to suffer an injury on the court. No bumping appeared to happen, but as a bruised knee was the report. But when your star goes down, a new guy has to step up, and that man today was Donte DiVincenzo, who hit that three, and then just for good measure, hit another three. Donte DiVincenzo would have 28 points on the day, but firing back was Darius Garland for the three. Darius Garland would put the Cavs up by 2 going into the half. Jump to the third, Max Strus threw pass to Jared Allen, who lobbed it up for Evan Mobley for the junk, and then Sam Merritt, a big three, holding on to the Cavs, keep the Cavs alive for the Knicks. He scored 21. Another three for Darius Garland. He had 19 points. Josh Hart in the corner for the dagger to seal the win for the Cavs. And then just for good measure, another three from Miles McBride. The Cavs would win 107-98.
Well, Lucas, thank you. Stick around and hold your horses from some good news. We'll be right back.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We're here for you, we're here for you. This is your channel 2. With sports and news and what to do, we're here for you. It's your TV, you're watching WTOP. Your TV, thanks for watching WTOP.
La 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 la. Free. La 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 la. La 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 la. Freeze.
This weekend, drivers on the I-90 in Cleveland, Ohio had a deal with some unruly Mustangs making their way through the traffic. And we're not talking about the Ford sports car.
That's right, Logan. A pair of horses escaped police stables in downtown Cleveland, deciding to go for a morning trot after staying away from their mounted officers.
The pair was eventually captured after crossing the I-90 in Cleveland and making their way into a grassy area. Yet their little getaway is still stealing headlines.
Well, that's not something you see every day in Oswego, New York. So
no.
That's very interesting to see. Now, David, are there any final weather updates before we sign off tonight?
Well, we've got another nice day tomorrow, so maybe you could bust out your shorts one more time. But make sure you have your umbrella ready for some rain, possibly on Wednesday.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Any sports that we should be looking at? Any games?
Spring sports are starting. We have baseball, we have softball, men's and women's lacrosse, we have track and field. There's so much stuff going on in the spring. Just because winter is over, hockey, basketball all over, but that doesn't mean Oswego sports are done. You have so much that you can watch.
Absolutely. A lot to look forward to. Now, spring break is coming up next weekend. Anyone going away?
I'm not.
No, I'm staying home.
Going to Burlington.
You're going to Burlington.
Whoa.
Wow.
You're going up north.
Yes.
Wow.
Colder
Further
weather.
north. I was going to say, for
Further
spring
north.
break, we're going to not go south. We're going to go even more north.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's all for our report tonight.
I appreciate you. That's it. Be sure to stay tuned for our Perspective Entertainment.
Thank you for watching.
Have a great night, everyone. Happy birthday, Brooke.